for a map that Kanga are going to feel comfortable on. TBD got to choose the last one. Kanga will choose this one. So Clubhouse is gone.
Oh, no, that'll be a default ban, I think. Anyway, it's a complicated system.
Don't even... Villa is where we lie to. At least we're not going to Cafe. I think this is one of the few nights I've cast where we're not doubling up on maps. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Do you think this actually favors Kanga at all?
It's Cafe or Villa. Look, let me go cast my mind back. So Villa and Cafe both have a 33% win rate for Kanga. Let's have a look at some of the games that they won on this map. Villa, well, they lost to a Nixian so far, 3-7, not great. They beat Skyfire, which is was a team that set up in the Six Invitational Open. That's not a really huge deal. They also beat a team called Monkey Business back in the Challenger League on this map.
Monkey Business.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that great record, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go writing home about Kanga on Villa. TBD actually lost this map already in the season to Fury as well, 3-7. And that's my main recent result for them. In fact, it's been quite a highly banned map by TBD.
Interesting. So it's 3-7 either way in this season so far.
Yes. In theory, wait, who was it that Kanga lost it to? Anixian. Yeah, Anixian versus Anixian and Fury. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think they're both decent on this map. I wouldn't call either of them flawless. And there are a few VODs out there as well, so these guys can come in with stuff prepared.
Yeah. Right, before we continue with tonight's proceedings, again, for those of you who might have been watching before, I do apologize if we are replugging this, but it is something that here at ESL, at Ubisoft, and just as human beings, we do tend to, want to kind of promote a little bit more, which is !donate in chat. That will send you to links where you can donate for the bushfires that are currently going on in Australia. Unprecedented. We could probably sit here and just continue to add words onto this, but to be honest, at this point, you know what it is, you know how bad they are, and they're only, I don't want to say they're getting worse, but it hasn't really gotten a lot better. It's
been a very tough bushfire season. Bushfires are a very common thing in Australia, for those who don't know, but this season has been particularly bad, and there's a lot of very worthy causes that you could donate to, so !donate in the chat will lead you to those.
Beautiful. Well, let's move on with tonight's proceedings. Thank you very much for taking that time, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We do appreciate that. But let's have a look at what you at home thought of how this matchup will go. We favoured Kanga in the last matchup. Will it be something that repeats? Yeah.
People just like the kangaroo logo. That's it.
Yeah, I think they just see it. Look, to be honest, they see it and they go hopping.
Power to them. Kanga's had some upsets so far. Why can't they do it again? I see no reason why not.
Well, I mean, so far they've had, so far they've had an upset every matchup that they've played. However, they didn't upset Kanga. So, Anixian.
Anixian, yeah.
But they did manage to draw with Fnatic and win against Wildcard, for those of you who weren't here in the pre-show for that.
Very big deal.
It is a huge deal, especially for a team that's coming in fresh off the bat.
Yeah, these guys came in from Challenger League.
Yep.
TBD, on the other hand, were 4th in the Pro League last season. So that's a huge disparity there. You'd think there would be a huge disparity.
Yeah.
And at least on Kanga's defense, they put up a really good showing, but their attacks just didn't exist.
Well, the last map of tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Villa, we head to Kanga and TBD. TBD just came off the back of a 7-4 victory on Clubhouse. Flawless on their defensive side. Will Kanga be able to pick it up here on their attacking? That seemed to be the problem. That seemed to be where it faltered in the previous matchup. They start on attacking side. I don't know whether going into this, if you would want more momentum or whether you would just want to play freely and hope for the best.
Yeah, well, difficult to know exactly whether that attacking side start will favor them or not, but I guess we'll only know if we start to play the game and get into it. Buck and Thatcher, the bans for either team. TBD love banning Buck. It's actually a really common ban for them. Contrasting to what you might think, where very few teams ban the Buck. If I cast a quick look at some of my stats, it's actually their 3rd most banned operator after Jackal and Capitao. So just going to deny a lot of that vertical potential and really change the way, I guess, that some teams might attack this, but I don't think it'll have a huge impact. Thatcher gone as well is just going to mean Kanga, man. They love using that information denial. Mozzie, mute, and well, I guess the Cade would have been useful with the Thatcher ban, but that may be a bit of an off-the-cuff ban from TBD. Get that off the table.
Well, all things considered, with Buck gone, does alleviate some of the vertical play. Thatcher now, I think we've seen Thatcher banned in all 4 matches tonight, so that's a...
Welcome to ANZ.
Right, Thatcher and Mirror. It used to be Mirror and Echo, and now it's Thatcher and Mirror.
Yeah, people don't like Mirror that much.
No, they really
except
don't.
for Fnatic. Fnatic loves Mirror.
Well, I guess if you know how to play it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, Mirror. Fnatic has some good Mirror strats. Anyway, not talking about Fnatic. It's so no Cade. In fact, mute I guess is the possible wall denial that we've got for us.
Attackers need to locate
Aussie
and
as
defuse
well,
bombs.
still in, and just a lot of information denial there. I feel like I'm a broken record talking about information denial, but it's just if we're in any meta right now, it's the information denial meta.
Yep.
And as if teams already weren't great on the defense, as if Pro League wasn't already slightly defender-sided, we have these teams. Really, the meta is about these defender-sided strategies of denying attackers information and drones. So, Kanga, well, they've got the Jackal to help out with some of that information gathering, but they don't have a lot of ways of dealing with that information denial like the Mozzie and Mute. They can locate them with the IQ, but that's not really the problem. It's destroying them that's the problem.
I feel like my memory just gets thrown back to the Jackal in club getting destroyed by the Roamer. It's
the irony.
It's too fitting, correct?
Speaking of roaming, let's talk about how this roam's actually going to function, because we've got Joker opening all kinds of holes underneath that master, the whole master area underneath the main wall. So you want to chuck any thermite charges or Hibana pellets on that wall. Anyone below can destroy those. You don't actually need an impact to trick it. You just shoot it from below. Jack Daddy's going to play hard below with Joker. They're hard holding that. You can see that telegraph from that reinforcement on the laundry wall. They're just going to retain this control below. Jack Daddy and Joker actually could see for anyone below. Jack Dad's going to get spotted out once on the Jackal, and that'll give Kanga a clue as to how TBD are holding this. But it'll still be difficult for them to push out these roamers.
That's for sure. Wayne Man still doing a fair bit of the droning from that southern side of the building. And as they start to progress a little bit further in toward the memorial rooms and just underneath Master, they might be able to put a bit more pressure on. Of course, the IQ is still in play for Kanga, so Jack Daddy sits on it for too long, sorry. That might be a nuisance.
He can see the pulse. He can see the pulse. He should just shoot the pulse. Shoot the pulse. Kill. There's a pulse downstairs.
Boats just shoot the pulse.
That's a shame. Pulse gets a kill.
Oh, wow.
Because, and it's, Roma kills the Jackal, right?
Oh, no!
Whether if he had hard peeks that, he would have nailed that kill, but no. Let's see if he can find this one. He does eventually, but not without sustaining heavy damage from Jack Dad. That's the primary information gatherer for TBD off the board, but Joker's still down here. I don't think Kanga are really hunting him at this point. He does have a C4 in all likelihood. Oh, that's nasty from Mitby style. It looks like TBD are actually in really strong positions to hold on to this bomb site and have plant enough from below.
The Jackal off as well. They're not going to know that there's another roamer downstairs unless, of course, they've already pre-droned this one out. So wait and see. Leb now starting to make a bit more of an entrance in toward bedroom. Well, still has to worry about the openings from below. They might be able to deny a lot of those pallets that come through. Worthy does take down Cutie in the meantime, and all of a sudden, Kanga are going to be able to explode on site here.
And Worthy can just be dedicated to flank watch now. Low HP, you don't want him on an entry. He may actually go and just try and chase Joker downstairs to prevent him from going for that C4. It's exactly what he's going to do, but he pre-fires a little bit too much. Joker just needs to land the one bullet, but he doesn't get it. Worthy is perfect, and Boats finds 2 on the entry.
Wow, Zuz, it definitely, you know, we were saying at the start of the round, TBD looked like a good setup, looked like they had their T's crossed. Kanga were a little bit unsure of what was going on. We saw the first opening for TBD as well on that pulse, and then from there, Kanga just seemed to capitalize on it. I mean, Cutie falling down, the only site, well, realistically statuary site, holder, the anchor, kind of just opened up a world of pain for TBD. So many different access points.
It was really well played by Kanga, the end of it. Swarming that bomb site, piece by piece, picking apart what TBD held, and didn't get baited into getting in positions where the defenders downstairs would really be able to have an impact through the floor. But now TBD are going to change things up. They'll head over instead to Aviator Games. They'll bring the Goyo, an operator which still seeing, getting a bit of play just for the first time. A bit of experimentation, if you will. A lot of different ways you can use that. Is this a back-to-back Goyo shield? Now that is interesting. So obviously, the thing about a Goyo shield, you don't want it facing away from where the attackers are coming from, because then they can just pop it. But potentially the other Goyo shield facing towards the north side would prevent. Yeah, there you go. And Cutie just checks the angle. It may be. Oh, he just checked both angles from both doors to make sure that neither canister could be shot. That's very clever. Except until an Ash charge goes and destroys him.
Imagine that. You go through all the effort of finding a way to make it so viable, and then
yeah,
good old Ash walks in.
What I would love is for a player above to just ping where the shields are, and Ash to go below and just Ash the floor, and it would probably just destroy both.
That would be heartbreaking. Again, we could test this. Well, let's not talk about testing now. Let's just continue to be a little bit more concerned about what's been happening for Kanga, which
is a roam clear downstairs. You can see a lot of presence downstairs. Oh. Wow.
Oh.
Not sure where that angle was, whether that was through the floor somewhere or whether it was a bit of team damage. Oh, it was Mangoes. There you go, above. He's looking through a hole in the floor. Boats drones him out. Mango's tempted to pop this Goyo shield, but he doesn't want to do it too early because not that much time has been wasted so far. And Ash charge is utilized through the floor below, but it's to get rid of the bandit charge. You'd think that an IQ would do that job better, but there you go. Mangoes pops that first Goyo shield, and I think that's both Ash charges utilized. So no real way to clear those Goyo shields now.
Barnapalant's now going to be opening up a bit more of a passageway toward the A site, so Jack Daddy just needs to be careful in behind the bar. Study firmly under the control of Kanga, only for now though. I believe it's only Boats that's sitting there, so maybe not as strongly as what I once thought. Mango's happy to sit inside Aviator and just wait for these players to slowly but surely make their move.
A lot of good information gathering from the defense there, Maestro. And of course, it's a giant gaping hole in the defense with that opening. But Jack Daddy knows exactly where he can and can't sit around that bar to not be exposed to the angle. But you know who is exposed? It's Cutie on the bomb site. There is a good refrag though as Joker trades out unit, and that's the diffuser down as well. Kanga will be forced to pick that up. Joker likely knows about it. He's not going to play aggressive on it because he knows he's vulnerable. Now we do still have a roamer up and live for TBD. Kanga, 4 versus 4. If they take the bomb site though and ignore this roamer, it's a 4 versus 3.
Joker could get up there with sufficient time if he manages to make that call early, Ippy style, and Jack Daddy coming together to slam this round out of contention. And there is Worthy somehow taking down Joker on literally a pixel of HP. Able to make his way back around toward 90. Mangos is there to take down Leb. It would be one Hail Mary from Worthy to make this work right now. TBD actually nearly line up there had he been able to hit. I mean, that's just unrealistic, but still there was a chance. The chance is squandered. Nicely done from TBD.
Ippy Star doesn't let those go. He wants to find those.
He slaps that.
He slapped it. Yeah, that was nice from TBD. I got to put a little bit on Kanga. TBD were cautious of that vertical play. You know, they banned the buck to prevent vertical play. And yet Kanga was so insistent on doing it, but they only had one operator that was really interested in vertical play in the Ash. I think they also used the Jackal shotgun vertically. But what I really would have liked to see is instead of using the Ash to get rid of the bandit batteries, use the IQ. I guess the Ash can be utilized to deny the bandit trick, but I don't see why they aren't bringing the Zephyr instead, which in my opinion is superior at it. Much better than the Ash for it, but perhaps that's just a comfort pick for Worthy. He feels he performs better on Ash. I personally think they should be bringing both of them, but they're probably just a bit starved for how many operators that they can bring. They feel they need the Nomad to cover the flanks. They obviously need the Hibana to open the holes. And man, they need the IQ to get rid of all the cameras and the utility. And they need the Jackal.
They need the Jackal.
Well, I mean, if there's anything you're going to trade out here for a Zafir, I would get rid of the Jackal.
Yeah.
Because I think that you can do the vertical breaching better with Zafir. And I don't think the Jackal scanning has been super prevalent.
No, I feel like I've only seen it once, maybe twice, and one of them was on site.
Well, if you recall in the first round, the Jackal scanned the pulse of Jack Dad, and then like 40 seconds later, Jack Dad kills the Jackal.
It's just a beautiful story, really, of man and beast. Beast and man. Prey versus predator. Now, it is a matter of Kanga just getting back on top of this. Again, we were stressing about their attacking rounds on Clubhouse. It looks like they're a lot more comfortable on Villa, or to the fact that TBD might not be as well structured on their defense side, but 2 rounds isn't much to go off.
With Kanga not performing that well on their attack on Clubhouse and already coming out winning 1 here on Villa, it's looking really good. Jack, that's so aggressive. Unit takes him down. Jack, I think he thought he was on the unit was on the drone, because he would have pulsed him through the wall and thought, there's a guy prone in this corner, he's probably droning, I'm going to run out and kill him. And it looks like Unit was aware of that, so he got off the drone and finished him. Spots another player downstairs, it's the Mozzie. Kanga look like they have a much clearer idea of what they'd like to do on this, and it's not just about baiting defenders into pushing and then taking them out. The Nomad who was playing Master before, I think she may have set Nomad charges in Master, which you can actually cut off anyone from rotating into Master. If you put one on the Master door to Statuary and one on the door between Astronomy and Bathroom, you can prevent any defender from rotating into Statuary or into Master unless they destroy those. He's got, yep, only one edge up left, so I assume that's where he put those 2.
Now, knowing that they've still got one on the flank, or Joker just trying to be a nuisance, this is where things started to get a little bit hairy for TBD in that first round. So whether they double down on this, Ippy Style will be able to open up on a Wayne man. Very important duel to be able to win. The second he falls down there, Astronomy might be more open to an attack, but you can see Kanga now coming from that southern side of the building, just slowly chipping away at Kanga's, at TBD's defense.
Long angle also just generated from Leb. In Master, looking all the way into that trophy doorway. Bosa's going to try this plant, and in fact, Leb can cover that as well as Worthy. Both of them get some bullets off, and Cutie goes down. A great opportunity for the Maestro, but Worthy finds his second. Mango's down on the floor. Just 2 players left in Joker and Ippy Style. Both of them have to flank it. Oh no, Joker could have denied the plant, but it was far too late. He'll find one on the retake. 3 more to go.
Ippy Style needs to find something here. They've got that long line they need to be careful of. Ippy Style pulls off at the wrong time. Worthy's going to be able to take down Joker as well. It's crumbled for TBD, and Kanga successfully take another attack on that second floor. Statuary not being held to the fullest, or although it would seem.
That's a really nice attacking strategy. I really like it. Albeit, there was a certain potential there that it could have been heavily disrupted if TBD, if the Mozzie player downstairs of Joker had actually pulled that C4 off a little bit earlier. Diffuser would have been denied. There would have been less players on bomb site, and TBD's anchors who were getting aggressive, like Mango's on the Maestro, could have pushed up into more aggressive positions and retaken that bomb site, gotten Diffuser safe, and really prevented Kanga from getting back into the round. And it all would have hinged on that 1 C4 denying that plant and delaying Kanga getting the bomb down. So while that was very dominant and very well played from Kanga, there was a missed opportunity from TBD that I don't think Kanga were prepared for had TBD executed it properly.
We are going to be reattempting it for a 3rd time here, Dev.
And we've seen some slight role changes too. Jack Daddy is on the Mozzie instead of the Pulse. Joker's on the Pulse, sorry, on the Legion instead of the Mozzie.
Interesting.
Yeah, funny, because I thought the Pulse was really good at information gathering.
Yeah.
But the problem is, when Jack Dad died, they lost that information gathering. So if Jack Dad wants to play more aggressive, then put him on a role that doesn't need to be alive for as long. But if Joker was on Pulse last round, he probably would have denied that plan.
Yeah. Would have, well, at the very least, would have had so much more information as to where they were coming from. I don't know. Obviously, at that point, TBD knew where they were coming from. They were approaching from the southern side, but you know, it just felt like they were lost when it came to action. When it came to actually taking a chunk out of that round, it just kind of fell apart. And now maybe this is the change they need. It doesn't look like it's. Well, it's not. There's no roam down on that first floor whatsoever. Instead, they've got a little bit more attention across toward Aviator, which might cut off some of that attention that Kanga were putting on.
Yeah, Kanga kept trying to push up red stairs, and now if they try to do that without clearing Aviator, then TBD will have a crossfire on them. So it does force Kanga to do, it just increases the number of steps that Kanga have to go through before they can execute, at least in the way that they've been executing so far. Oh, nice!
That's a great way to start for Jack Daddy on the 90 corner. Manages to find that, and Joker, I don't know whether he's going to be contested here in Aviator. He might just have free roam there.
Leb just trying to break the house down with his hammer. Big bad wolf comp.
That's it, huffed and puffed.
Bricks. It's actually a really aggressive position from multiple attackers. You can see boats, and oh my god, they're almost all here. They can't gather much info because of the mute jammers though. If they double peek this, that might not matter. There's a lot of players stacked on site, so this is very, very dangerous.
Oh, this is going to be so dry. It looks like TBD. It is just going to be an absolute bloodbath into Water Astronomy right now, trying to find the engagement. Boats manages to get away with his life. However, it is just by the skin of it. Itby Style will be able to find one. The trades are coming through. Itby Style goes massive with 3. And not only that, he dismantles unit down to nothing. TBD. Wow.
That was all on Itby Style. Credit to TBD for setting up those angles to prevent Kanga from pushing, but it was all on Itby Style to land the right shots, really put a stop to this attack, and that's exactly what's happened. Unit has decided, okay, put my mouse down. It's time to just take a 1-minute tactical timeout mid-game. No, is he going to attempt the clutch? You'd think he wouldn't attempt the clutch. Surely not.
Well, he had 3 opportunities to track and didn't do.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you don't have to, I guess, at a certain point.
Well, if he thinks he's had the discussion he needs to with his team and he's ready to play the next round, then there's no point in drawing this out any longer.
Oh, that's so enjoyable. Every way he could have gone.
I was just like waiting to think, okay, good night.
Worthy savage.
Oh man,
I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all.
I actually jumped in my chair.
It was like just this nice soft moment where we're like, oh yeah, someone's just gonna shoot him. No. It's just like as well when you have like the sound up really loud in your headphones.
Yes.
And something like that happens when it's just dead silent. Yeah. It'll have that effect. All right, back to AVG. Aviator Games Room now, which saw to be very successful for TBD in the second round.
Look what they're doing, Manic. Wow. They switched the Jackal out for Zafir. That's what I said.
Are you a wizard?
Yes, Harry.
No, we're not going back down that road.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm a prophet or whatever. Maybe they're thinking about something completely different, but I do think that they could have identified last round that they had insufficient soft reach to deal with these Goyo shields, and they were also had insufficient soft reach to open up the floor from below. Both of those things they really needed to do. One, because if you don't destroy those Goyo shields, it's very difficult to deny plant and move in aggressively. And 2, if you don't have soft reach from below, then that's just banned. You can't get rid of any utility that's on the wall. So you need to go below. Now Zafir and Ash both can go below and open up holes underneath where the bandit batteries are. Both of them can also destroy Goyo shields. So Kanga are much better equipped in terms of utility to enable that hard breach to go down on the worm walls. Do have to be careful of these vertical holes from TBD though, because last round Mangoes did land a few bullets through one, and we had quite a few players actually with holes from above, which put some pressure onto the Kanga attack.
Well, we saw them trade it out in that second round, right? It was a shot for a shot, I actually think, in the end. So it is, oh, well, that's going to be an early spot to come through. Not really going to have any problems whatsoever. However, I believe the drone was not taken out, so just additional drone economy to keep on hand, keep steady.
It was tough for Kanga to get control of the north side of the map control, because of those Mozzie pests, but it looks like they've done so. So not too bad, and made good time out of it too.
Oh God, here's Ippy style again. This man. All right, what were we saying right before this game about how aggressive he is?
We were talking about how he's just so aggressive. He has this hunger to take fights, especially early in the round. We saw it on Clubhouse. He had 4 opening deaths and 1 opening kill. But that said, when he plays patiently, when he bides his time, and he goes for those aggressive plays somewhat later in the round, that's when we see him racking up 2Ks, 3Ks, executing massive flanks that make the difference for his team.
It is one of those things, damned if you do, damned if you don't, you know. 1 to 4, you said? 1 to 3?
1 to 4.
1 to 4 K opening versus death.
Yeah, 1 to 4, -3.
Yeah, that's not the cleanest, especially when you consider he finished the last map with 11 kills. Like, that is a huge amount to come out the end with. Top fragging for TBD, alongside obviously. Who was it? Cutie it was. Oh, yeah. No, never mind. That is, wow, I just totally had a miss sight there. I can't believe Joker has just been able to take down Unit. How many times are we going to see these flanks?
Flank game is very strong for TBD.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah, Doggy. And look at this. Wayneman's still so worried about these flanks. There clearly aren't enough drones set up. Isn't enough utility. Oh no, an angle from below from Ippy style. That's just perfect. And it was the angle that the Ashe opened herself to destroy the Goyo shields that ends up in her demise. Too little too late now for Leb, opening up this main wall, but there's still 3 players for Kanga to make an execute.
Boats coming around 90 now. They're going to have to explode here. Wayneman's been able to get on site, but now he needs to deal with the player underneath. He can't get it done, and now who's up? Who's next to the plate? Because they're hitting them out every single time. Leb has nothing to show for it. TBD just on another level right now. That is clean.
Too good at the moment for Kanga. TBD really stepped it up there, and it showed that patience pays off for TBD, especially Ippy style downstairs. He waited, he bided his time, he didn't give them early engagements. He waited for Kanga to put themselves in unfavorable positions, and he figured out ways that he can be a hindrance. And opening up that, it was an off-the-cuff decision to, hey, there's an angle through the floor opened up by that Ashe charge, I'm going to hold this angle, and that was perfect. Similar to Joker, Joker had information. There was one top red stairs, and he had no hesitation. He went for that gunfight. TBD allowed to really run amok, and surely not. Surely, Jack, you're not going to do it to him with the Cav. 6 picked onto, so Kanga won't be aware of the Kavira. See whether Jack can hide it in the prep phase. He'll chuck his 2 reinforcements down and then probably go hide in a corner somewhere. Kanga not likely to chuck their drones straight into the bomb site. That's suicide for one of the most powerful tools you have at your arsenal as an attacker. You can see Kanga have already lost 2 drones. You can tell because at the top left, Boats and Wayne, the little blue square is slightly faded around the operator icon. That means they lost their drone. So only 3 drones left in the prep phase. They're definitely not going to be looking for this Cav. So that's going to give Jack the element of surprise here.
And they're going to know it as well. So where realistically is Jack Daddy going to play? That's so salty.
Another thing about this is that Unit Doggy is going to be using that footsteps tracker, the Inox scanner, to see, has anyone walked here? And when Jack Daddy's using a silent step, he doesn't generate footprints for the Jackal. So Unit might think, okay, no one's walked through here, and then next minute the Cav makes a rotate and walks from a position near there. Could be deadly, but looks like Kanga have other ideas and are focusing on the bomb site.
Goes just overexposed astronomy there. Being able to be taken down, and now Jack Daddy being allowed to roam freely, this could be a very interesting, and surely at this point, Kanga are ready for anything that they have to throw at them. I mean, I just wouldn't put it past Jack Daddy. Look how far the flank is coming from. Second floor coming all the way from the southern side through study.
But Cutie's upstairs in a really aggressive spot. So is Itby Style. Itby Style gets out of dodge, but Cutie's still in this aggressive position. He manages to rotate down without a fuss by vaulting over. Great job. But Jack Dad, his rotate is barred. Now he'll take out that drone potentially. If Kanga are doing their homework, doing their due diligence, they'll realize that drone was taken out, and someone, whoever placed that drone there, will communicate that to the rest of the team, and they'll know someone was on the top floor at the south side.
The barricade was there as well, so, you know.
Yeah, and now a
That would have
nomad
been
charge.
yeah,
It's so difficult to make this flank work for Jack.
depends on, I mean, realistically right now, if he can catch off Wayne Man, that would be absolutely huge. Wayne Man just pops in and out, says a quick hello, grabs some sugar, and off he goes. A friendly neighbor, this man.
That Jackal, of course, still won't be able to track the Cav. They're going to keep tracking other players that are on site. Potentially that'll lure them into a false sense of security. I think if Jack's going to make an impact on this round, it's going to be really, really late round. Because Boats is watching for this, and there's a nomad charge on this door. He's going to take the fight. Oh, he spotted him for a second, but he doesn't know whether he got spotted back. And I think it looks like he does. Boats was watching for that.
I was going to say, maybe the sound bait there with that impact going down onto the 90 hatch. However, he will just completely back away. Wayne Man taking down Joker on somewhat of a rotate back in. It is traded out by Jack Daddy.
Didn't go for the interrogation. He was worried that a player would flank him. Now it's a 4 versus 3 for Kanga. In hopes of tying up this half rest in the end of this round. Plays in aggressive positions. Just look at Cutie, hard left to the breach, but he gets spotted out. Manages to rotate safely and generate an angle to look into laundry. 15 seconds. Kanga, the onus is on you to push. And they do find that entrance onto the bomb site. 2 kills, all on Itby Style. He can't do anything about it. And Kanga tie up the half.
Nicely done. What a collapse in the end. It's exactly what we needed to see from Kanga in the previous rounds. I honestly think that this could have ended easily 5-1 at that point. Kanga were looking much, much stronger than what we'd seen them on Clubhouse. So will this convert to their defensive side? That's still yet to be seen. However, we will be headed to Dining Kitchen first up.
I like it. They're not afraid to try us out on a unconventional bomb site. I mean, Kitchen is a typical bomb site for a tertiary attempt. But if you're locked out of your 2 main, you go to Kitchen. But very rarely do we see people go to Kitchen before that. Personally, I actually really like Kitchen as a bomb site. I think it has so much variety because you really get to use pretty much the whole map on this bomb site, whereas some of the others don't have as much presence downstairs. Kitchen's much more, a lot of opportunity for vertical play. It's just good fun, Rob. Just good fun.
Just good fun. Good overall.
Yeah.
Nice, bit normal. Now, this is where TBD can make their money. The pressure, I must say that, like, I want to say that the pressure's on Kanga. However, I just feel like coming straight out of the Challenger League into Pro League, they've done so well already. And I feel like every game is just another notch to the belt. You know, even in the previous 7-4 is not a bad scoreline at all to be walking away with club. Obviously, you take into consideration no attacking rounds, sorry, and that changes a little bit. But I still think that every game that they play is just more experience that they're gaining. As long as they can stay above, you know, above water, keep their head. Again, I'm going to say it again. Keep their head above water and just continue to breathe in Pro League. Like we were saying earlier, 2 years down the line, even a year down the line, this could be completely different.
In Kanga, they last place in the Challenger League in Season 9 of Challenger League. Season 10 Challenger League, they came first place and earned their spot in the Pro League. Now, Season 11 of the Pro League, they've already had a good start, made huge progress in the last 6 to 12 months, and I expect we'll just see that continue across the next.
Before the storm for TBD, they now start to make an entrance, and well, that's the way to start it out. Joker just bursts onto the scene, pushes down in toward the stairs, ensuring that there's no one across on that flank. So they slowly start to make their way over. Here's the scanning coming in now. That'll force Jack Daddy. Rather, it's Wayne Man this time. They're going to force that back out of position. I believe there was still one more on the shoulder there. Boats will be able to take down Joker with a bit of a C4. Where was that? That was a 90 as well. Cutie will have to step with a bit of caution there.
It's been a cheeky C4 through the floor. I like that one. Boats must have had maybe a Valkyrie camera. Maybe that was just a default 90 camera for that kill. Aussie Pest gets taken out. Here's ground being taken by TBD. They spot out that player trying to flank up the Astro stairs, but now Wayman has to get out of dodge. His position revealed. Ooh, here's a nice angle. Didn't know about this one. This is news to me. Wayman doesn't have a C4 left, but no one repelling in from that window of Astro will be exposed to the angle. Of course, that does work both ways. Cutie opening up the floor perfectly, making it very uncomfortable for these players to sit on the bomb site. And a C4 with no information, just thrown in a desperate attempt to take him out. Won't get anything.
Jeez, he has just made Kanga so unsettled. Regardless of the man advantage, that is still an awkward position to be in. Here comes the flashes now. Mangos will start to make a bit more of a leeway for himself. In comes the opening. Waits perfectly, but the timing on that is just too good. Can they bait it out in time? Doesn't look like the charges are gonna go off just yet. The mute jam is there to support.
Also good information gathering potential. Oh, perfect for TBD. And everything is collapsing. I don't know where half these kills went down, but that vertical play certainly has allowed TBD to get the numbers advantage right back onto them. All on Wayne Man now, 1 on 4. What can he do? All he has to do is deny the plan. As the timer hits 0, but he's not even going to find that. And TBD stamp out the fire that was Kanga.
Jeez Louise, that was... I really thought the C4... the start that Kanga had, they were burning so much time. I thought that Maestro was just going to burn through the clock. However, just nicely played from TBD. A nice little, I think, 3 kills within a second. And like you said, where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from?
No, I'm not going to finish.
No, Dev, it was there. I set it up. All you had to do was punt. You just had to punt it. That was it.
No, not doing that.
Disappointed. Well, let's move on from that and on from my disappointing co-caster. That's like
it's all right. We all have our crosses to bear. So, Kitchen was pretty close, but not close enough. They won't reattempt it again. They'll go upstairs now. Oh man, how many times have I called out the wrong bomb site? This is, yeah, good. This is... I feel like I've been calling out the wrong bomb site all night. So, Statuary, which for a lot of teams is the primary bomb site. Aviator and Statuary both very equivalent. They've got some really good camera placements.
Camera in position.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I like that. Lots of information to be gathered. He also had one in the landing hallway, which is excellent. Information denial downstairs for Kanga as well, but TBD, their ability to utilize that vertical play top-down last round just proved too strong for Kanga. And, well, we'll see. They can't do top-down vertical play onto this bomb site. It's on the top floor. Can use some bottom-up vertical play if they wish to, but the buck's not in the game.
Now, one thing TBD did quite well on Trophy, well, not even quite well, the fact that they persisted and just never really gave up on their system was that roam game. And even when they changed it, they didn't change it so heavily that it completely got taken away. They're going to see the castle barricade nice and early there. Epistar will be able to pop that open if need be. Don't know whether that will be the play immediately. They'll definitely start to open things up and start to look for different avenues.
Bomb located by attackers.
Kanga, or that could be a cheeky C4.
He's going to have to vault to get out of the
A bomb
bathroom
has been located.
over that deployable shield, but you can see Unit playing a very aggressive position inside of the closet. TBD have to flash this out. The first point of contention really is this closet. Unit Doggy with a shotgun is likely to win any close range gunfight that they give him. See if they give him any, whether they just throw enough utility at him or ignore him. It looks like TBD are just focusing on this other side.
Now, they know that there's at least one off-site. Mangos can start to move in free of charge, but there's an ADS, but it's not an ADS that they need to worry about. It's a secondary player. Unfortunately, Cutie cannot save Mangos, but they still find the trade efficient enough. Cutie just walks directly into the line.
Yep, and the diffuser down as well. They droned out that position multiple times. Unfortunate. I think TBD got a bit carried away there. 2v4. Joker to make an entry here, but looks like Kanga are just playing this too well. Not likely to give him anything, and he'll get taken out. All on Jack. What can you do? Show us your best shot. He's on camera right now. Smile. Can find one. Ooh, nice shots there, but oh, no, not to beat. He's got enough time to head upstairs, go for a reattempt, but he's so frail, he'll fall with a single bullet. .25. What can you do, Jack? Show us what you got. Moving inside. Kanga playing so passively now, and smartly so. They have the diffuser. They know that Jack Dad needs to find these kills to win the round. They're not going to give him anything. The crossfire established will take him out, and it's a nice round for Kanga.
His best bet, rather, was probably just to try and take the fights while they were there.
Yeah.
While they were originally peaking, but what do you do? It is quite hard in a 1 versus 4 to bring that one back. I think that was just disappointing from TBD. It looked like they were setting themselves up nicely, but just, again, it just felt like they weren't doubling down on what they already knew.
Yeah, I feel like they could have flushed out the closet position without losing a player. They tried to grenade it, but it got chewed up by the ADS, so they decided, no, let's just move inside and refrag it. They were lucky to even get a 1-for-1 trade out of that, because the auto shotguns are really good at fighting multiple opponents. Maybe that auto shotgun less so, but typically we see Ella shotgun really good at taking multiple opponents. That said, I guess they didn't clear out the ADS. Maybe they cleared out one ADS, assumed there wouldn't be a second. Clearly didn't check thoroughly enough, didn't throw enough flashbangs in first, didn't clear the ADSs. Anyhow, now, Kanga have used that strategy once. I'm sure that now that they've shown that castle in the closet strategy, it won't work so effectively next time. Perhaps next time they play this map in this season, teams will have avoided that and figured out effective counters to it. We'll have to have a look. It's Aviator Games next up on the chopping block.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and
Chopping block seems to be the way with this, that's for sure. Okay.
He's both trying to not get Jackal tracked. He's no. What? Oh, yeah. So he crawled across that doorway so that Jackal couldn't sit on the west window and see his footprints. I love it.
To us, it just looked
it's
very special.
He's just doing the worm. He's going to go pro in Just Dance.
Oh, God. Oh, wow. Okay, that was not wasting any time there from TBD. They've already made their way into Ward Master. They've got to be careful of boats right now. He's got the line held directly through. Now, if the Jackal had been repelling from that west side, like you'd said, or even just out on the porch, he probably would have been able to give the information to TBD that it was a little bit freer than what they'd hoped, but you would hope that their due diligence would be a lot more in depth than just a quick little Jackal track.
This is really good ground taken though now for TBD. Pushing up to 90 hallway now. Daddy trying to take out that jammer. I don't think there's an angle, mate. Might have to go below to get rid of that. Oh, but he's trying so desperately. Beauty on the window as well. The frag grenade attempting to clear out that mute jammer, but I think the drone hole's blocked by a suitcase, so not likely to work. Got to be careful, don't waste too much of your soft breach, Cutie. You've got Goyo shields to deal with. TBD going for this map control take, and now they'll rotate over to study side, likely to open up some Hibana pellets on the wall. It'd style trying to destroy. He's destroyed the Goyo shield, now he's all out of utility.
See you on the other side.
Good fun, right? Now It'd style decides to back away. They do have a little bit of information with that Jackal track. Cutie can start to make his way around 90 corner. Looks like they're starting to mount somewhat of an attack. Leb's just watching directly through toward Ave. He's Games is now locked down with 3 or 4 players there. Did Leb just deny a lot of that?
Somehow managed to shoot almost all of those pellets potentially. Cutie's in a real power play position, but I think that's a Goyo shield he has to contend with. Gonna prep a grenade, just throw it all the way down the hallway so he can peek freely. Mangos finds one through his holes. Cutie finds one. There's a good flank for Kanga, but it's just working out so well for TBD. All on boats. 4 players to find. This will need to be an ace to clutch it.
No pressure whatsoever. That's a nice C4 to begin with. That's going to be the kill as well. Had he been able to take down the second player peeking from the opposite door, you might have had hope. But he swung wide into 3 players. That's never going to favour you. However, there was a nice attempt. TBD explode onto that side.
We are on 4-5 at the moment. It's quite a close game. We've really been neck and neck. In fact, there hasn't been a single time during this match where one of these teams has been 2 points ahead of the other. I know, funny, think about it. It's just been one team wins, the other team wins. And then one team might win 2 in a row, but it only gets them 1 ahead. Only for the other team to then win 2 in a row, or 1 or 2 in a row.
I feel like that's, I mean, from the first half of last match, it kind of continues that trend.
Yes, it does. And this is really the opportunity here for TBD to break away, get themselves onto match point. I think that if they lock in the 6th point here, that definitely locks them in for a draw at least, but I think that really puts them in a great position to win this match outright. So far, we've seen a successful defensive statuary from Kanga, but that's the only bomb site they've managed to defend successfully so far. Now, they're going to go back to Kitchen. They failed at Kitchen. They went over to Statuary and won it, and they failed at Aviator. Going to retry Kitchen once more. They got really close on this. They just got decimated from that vertical play. Maybe they'll try and hold on to the top floor a little bit better. Maybe they'll try and C4 through the floor more. They've got Unit putting cameras upstairs to assist. But if TBD win this round, then Kanga are going to have to come back with 2 more rounds in order to tie us up. And well, we can assume they'll play Statuary. They might win that, but then they're going to have to win either this bomb site Kitchen or Aviator in order to draw it. And it's still possible for Kanga to win it. They just got to win all 3 bomb sites.
Yeah.
When they've only won 1 so far, it's
Why
cool.
are we worrying about all these details for? Come on. It's Jeff. Okay, Dev. As if you could do math.
Oh, don't worry. I get the computer to do it for me.
The computer's sitting there literally telling you play by play. Okay, let's have a look at how Kanga are going to approach this. As you said, the backs are up against the wall here. For all that they have done, it can completely fall apart right in this moment. They might have played half decently, and if we follow trends, they will be back into this round. Although I don't tend to prefer that as the method for Kanga.
It's hard to know. If they continue the trend of not being able to defend any bomb sites other than stat, they'll lose this round. If they continue the trend of managing to match TBD whenever they get ahead, then they'll win this round. This is such an essential round right here. TBD have taken a lot of that top floor control. It took a while. They lost a few drones. Good Mozzie, Pest, and Mute Jammers denied that quick droning. But now, with half the round gone, they've got that top floor control. They'll start opening up this floor. We saw how effective it was last round, and that's a C4 through the floor. Kanga trying to take out this sledge, but it doesn't work, despite them having that information from the Vault camp.
Wayneman's position was being watched up on that stairs. You can see Joker now just sitting patiently. Kanga, very nice opening. That's going to be the cutie falling. The cutie? Well, he is a bit of a cutie, isn't he? Sledge falling down. Nicely done. Angos as well. That's the approach here. Early Habana pallets. Need to be aware of any jammers or Maestro cams. Nope.
It's actually really good positioning for Mangos. He's made a lot of progress here, opening that main wall, drone himself in, with lots of information onto the direct bomb site. He's also got an ACOG to contest against Worthy, who doesn't have an ACOG. Really, this may come down to how effective... Oh, but that's a blitz into the bomb site! Where did that come from? Mangos does take that long-range fight. Now it's going to come up to these flankers, as well as Leb on the bomb site to hold firm. Boats here to support, but this plan's going to go down. Pressure from above as well will take down Boats, and this looks like it may be TBD's round. Leb needs to get aggressive. He will get it one shot, but it's not enough. 2 bullets, and still the Zofia survives. But Leb's the last one remaining, and after all that time, it's a 1 versus 3 retake.
That was merely a consolation frag. That is very disappointing for Leb. Now has to make his way down the hatch. It's already being watched, so the second he makes even the slightest movement, it's adios amigos.
It's a player within spitting distance of him too, and that'll catch him. Jack Daddy to finish him off, and wow, really great job from TBD, mainly surrounding that execute where they pushed in, killed those two of the 3 remaining site players all at once.
Well, they cannot buck the trend on their defensive side. First, the problems were arising on their attacking side in Clubhouse, and now it's almost a mirror image on Villa, but for their defense. This is...
Yeah, that's actually true. Their attack, previous map, they couldn't get a single round. The defense here, they've only won the 1. Now it's looking really grim. Best they can do is a draw here, and well, they're gonna have to win on this. Wait, they can go stat now, and they're not going stat. That is strange. Statry is the only bomb site they've won so far, and yet they're not returning to it. They're gonna go Aviator instead.
Attackers need to locate.
That's contrasting to what I had expected. Mind you, they would have to win both bomb sites anyway, or at least Statry and Kitchen, or Statry and Aviator, or Aviator and Kitchen. They have to win 2 more bomb sites in order to draw this up. I'm just surprised that they're going to go with this bomb site instead of stat. Maybe they're trying to be a bit more unexpected. Maybe they think that they identified what went wrong last time TBD won this attack. They think they can plug those holes and fix it in this round.
You would hope so. Stick the fingers in the sinking ship, right?
Yeah, well,
try and patchwork it up.
If you don't have anything left to patch it up, then use whatever you've got.
Hose fingers, you're just sitting there like trying to cover the boat.
Yeah.
We're not sinking, this is fine. It's the equivalent of the dog in the firehouse, right?
Everything is fine.
It's as simple as that. Well, let's hope for the love of God that Kanga have figured it out what went so wrong on this site, because it was a 1v4 for whoever it was on Kanga to bring it back.
And that's been a trend here. Kanga's defenses, they seem to make decent progress mid-round, and then TBD explodes and things get very difficult for them. Wow!
Oh, hello? What?
Was there any info for you there?
Huh?
Worthy? And then Boats just goes and finishes him off. Really excellent job. And my question now, Kanga, is it better to stay hyper-aggressive like this? You've put them on the back foot. Is it better to keep that pressure up? Don't let them rest. Or is it better to get back to the bomb site? Don't give them an opportunity to refrag, to play off the information you've given them.
I would love to know where that was from. That was crazy. What intel they had, why they executed like that. Regardless, they've just backed away. They've gone directly to site. Wayne Man unit still just being a nuisance on their roam. Regardless, though, man advantage. They now have slowed down the progression that TBD was starting to make.
They've also taken out one of the main soft breaches, and soft breach is super essential on this bomb site. In fact, there's no utility to get rid of those Goyo shields anymore. TBD decided to bring the Capitao instead of the Ash that we saw previously. Star for soft breach, but it will drone out the bomb site. A lot of presence from these defenders still. You can see they're holding on to Study, but Mangos finds one.
Attackers recovered the bomb
Perhaps
diffuser.
a bit too overzealous as Kanga trying to hold on to too much ground at once.
This unit who was still on that roam game, still trying to be a nuisance. Now they still have Study control. TBD have not been able to take too much off them. And the problem is, I don't think they know that... Oh, actually, Mango surely has to understand right now that they have the complete control of Study, whether there's still a player in there or not. I don't know whether they backed away.
Oh, Boats just ran out downstairs. Mostly going to be a bait. He was likely detected. Cutie finds a kill. Kanga, you can't let TBD get back into this game like this. Stop giving him 1v1s. Never is there an opportunity to trade, and now suddenly TBD seem like this could be the match point they're looking for.
Wayne Man, could he be instrumental in this? He's only got one more smoke left. Cutie as well. One more More asphyxiation bolt. Here comes in the smoke. 20 seconds left. That's only going to buy them, realistically, for another 5 seconds. They're going to be able to make their way around the backside of it. They might be able to stick this. They've already pushed in. Cutie's been able to eliminate one. Magnus on the other.
What?
TBD, my word, it's nearly a flawless round in the end. TBD close it out 7-4, identical to Clubhouse, but that, statement being made.
No successful defenses on any bomb site other than Statuary, and, well, on the flip side of that, TBD undefeated here tonight. 7-4, 7-4. Too good for Kanga.
So, we now know where we sit with Kanga. We now know where we sit with TBD.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think coming into this season, there was a question with TBD. Are they still that top 4 team? And I don't think a lot of people were thinking about Kanga at the start of the season, to be frank. And then they played against Fnatic, drew. They played against Wildcard, won. And everyone started thinking about Kanga.
Yeah.
And with good reason, too. But it looks like TBD, there's two sides to this coin. On one half, they're proving to us this is actually that they maybe still got some of the life that old TBD team had.
Yeah.
They still got a shot at top 4. And Kanga, maybe the honeymoon phase is over.
That's always the problem, isn't it? They come in, they're really amped up. To be honest, I think the honeymoon phase for Kanga finished last week when they versed Nixian and realized, hang on a second, this isn't just run-of-the-mill, this isn't just Fnatic and Wildcard. We now have to back it up against the other teams. Yeah. I think that's translated. I don't think that TBD necessarily were that much all over Kanga. However, it just shows it's the small executions, right? It's the 1%ers that have changed it.
And the attacks from TBD, man, so many of those attacks, Kanga just were not able to put up enough of a fight. They had some nice ideas, might have found a pick here or there, but TBD always managed to claw back those advantages.
Yeah.
And how many times do we see a 4-on-0 or a 5-on-0 or a 3-on-0 dominant victories on the attacking side from TBD?
Well, that's the thing. When you go back and you actually count how many rounds they were able to successfully convert like that, it is a concern, and I think it's something that Kanga now need to go back and look at, because Kanga decided to head to Villa instead of Cafe. So where's the discretion? Where is the line in the sand for them?
Even just taking a quick look at some of the opening kills and opening deaths that I was tracking. Now, I didn't get every single round, missed 3, but taking a look at just that map, almost all of the opening kills were from Kanga killing TBD players.
Yeah.
And yet a lot of these rounds then went against them. They got that early pick, that early advantage, and yet TBD always seemed to push it back. And that's what we saw as a class example in that final round, where they got success, really, really well played, found that early pick onto itB style with 2 players on the roam, and then suddenly TBD just 1 pick here on Aroma, 1 pick here on a player playing aggressive.
Yeah.
Suddenly, we actually have numbers advantage now. Formulate a strategy on the fly, overwhelm Kanga.
Yeah, there were points in time where I think we can ask questions, and you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do exactly that. I'm not even gonna let you keep going. I like setting it up and then hitting it home. We're gonna listen to what Yoshi has to say from Kanga.
Hey boys, how we doing?
Hey mate, how you doing? Good to see you again. I hope all is well. Very quickly, 7-4, 7-4. Did you come into tonight expecting such a close game?
Yeah, I suppose we knew it was always going to be a close game. It wasn't ever going to be easy. We didn't have Thumb with us today, so we were missing our IGL on attacks, which kind of you could really see on club. But yeah, it was definitely a difficult game, and TBD played really well.
You just alluded to something that I was actually going to ask, which was about your clubhouse attacks. You guys didn't manage to get any of your clubhouse attacks. I think you lost 5 in a row. I don't mean to hit a sore spot or anything. You mentioned Thumbnail not being present. There's a lot of information denial operators that have come into meta on Clubhouse. Mozzie, Vigil, and Mute you had to deal with a lot, especially with a castle. What was the real problem on those attacks, and what do you think is going to help with that moving forward?
I think the main problem was Thumb not being there, the communication. Kind of Thumb in the team is used as kind of like a beacon in terms of like if a call is made, if Thumb makes it, everyone agrees. If at the moment there's some people making some calls and other calls, and they're getting jumbled, and we think we're doing one thing, but everyone's doing another. So it's just about being on the same page. That's what Thumb gives us.
Yeah, well, hopefully he'll be back soon and you guys can play with your full roster. Of course, it's going to be a break after this week of Pro League. Speaking of, we've got 6 Invitational coming up, and then we've got the second split of the Pro League. How do you guys feel like you're tracking moving into the rest of the season? Because you had a really bang-on start against Wildcard and Fnatic. Do you feel like you're going to be able to keep up that success, and where do you think you're going to end up at the end of Season 11?
Look, I think at this point in time, we've kind of fallen into a slump. I think we started off, really well, as you said. But these last couple of games, took our foot off the gas. So hopefully over the next, month or so, we can kind of get our foot back on the gas, go back into maps, kind of figure out what we want to do, how we want to play, and just make sure everyone's, sharing the same kind of vision moving forward.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing that insight. Do you have any final words for the viewers at home?
I'm sorry we couldn't convert the win, to be honest. Well done to TBD, and thanks.
All right, mate. Thank you very much. Enjoy the break, and we'll see you in the next half of the season.
Cheers, boys. Have a good one.
I find that really interesting to come from such a team that's come from Challenger, that a lot of this is relying on one person for the cohesion to come together. And
it shows how much of Rainbow Six can really be not on the screen.
Yeah.
As viewers, we couldn't perceive, we can see that, they're not committing to one thing, there's not a lot of coherence on the push. We don't know that it comes because they're used to one player in particular making calls and that player isn't present. When Thumbnail is there and they're playing really well and units fragging out, maybe Thumb's getting picked off early every round, but he's IGLing them to perfection. We don't see that. That doesn't get translated into the stats, and that's why it's always important to have a qualitative approach as well as a quantitative approach when you're analyzing gameplay and having a look at how people are performing.
And that's something that we touched on earlier tonight, which is that it's not just as simple as aim and shoot. This is a game that's very complicated. And for a team that is so young, excuse my, quotations there, per se, with experience inside of Pro League, it is upsetting to hear that, like the honeymoon phase, as we were talking about, is over in Pro League. They had incredible results against Fnatic and Wildcard. Not incredible results. They had results against Fnatic and Wildcard, and I think that
they had results, which was incredible.
Yeah, that is the best way to put it, right? I think that's that kind of summed it up perfectly. Yeah. Well done. I think that genuinely Kanga have come around full circle, and now it's about it's not about how well you've played in one game or against one team. This is a season-long game that you are playing, and it has to be a marathon. It can't be a sprint.
The really telling games are going to be when Kanga comes up against Homeless, because they have a lot of experience against Homeless, who also came from Challenge League. When they play against Sinister, currently sitting at the bottom of the standings, Fury as well. And we'll start to measure up which will be the bottom 4 teams and where they're going to sit as they get dangerously close to that territory near the bottom. Kanga, we've seen a lot of good stuff, and TBD are a good team. They put up results consistently season after season, even when they have significant roster changes. So I don't want to put too much pressure onto Kanga for losing today.
No, and that's also another point I was just about to bring up. The fact that Thumbnail wasn't in and Boats was in. I don't think I made a big enough point of that. I think I just kind of fluffed over the fact that Boats was playing and we hadn't really talked about Thumbnail. And now hearing from Yoshi about the fact that Thumbnail is so instrumental does lead me to think that, not having him in the roster would have completely changed the results. However, we would have seen a completely different team today. And this is something that it's almost like growing pains, right? Kanga are going through that growing phase where they're in front of a lot of different people. Like, I don't think people realize the pressure at home, right? You go from playing Challenger League that might have 20 people watching to thousands of people globally, seeing your name every week. And that adds a lot of pressure to players. So I can see how this kind of thing can start to, how one player can have that much of an impact. Just a level head in there.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess we'll have to see how their season develops. On the flip side of TBD, what? What? He just gave me a look. It was a dirty look. I feel like I need to have a shower. I don't know what that was. I want to talk about TBD. Is that okay? Do I have permission?
Yeah, please talk about TBD now.
Thanks. TBD, like we've been saying, they've had good results season after season, right? But they've been on a gradual decline. My question is, when is that decline going to pop them down into the bottom 4? What's wrong?
We're about to hear from Jack Daddy this time with a shirt on.
Oh, thanks. Hey, Jack. How's it
Hello,
going?
everybody. They made me put a shirt on.
Yeah, well, good. Now I know what the in-joke was.
All I heard in my headset, Dev's talking, and all I hear is, we've got Jack Daddy ready, and he's got a t-shirt on this time.
Unlike in the rehearsals. All right, Jack, since Manic's still trying to contain himself, you know, congrats on the victory there. I think that was really, really well played, man.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, good fun playing those guys, actually.
Yeah,
Because,
oh yeah.
just quickly, I want to say how good they've been doing recently. And they went toe-to-toe with the top teams, even drawing with some. So, yeah, it was fun playing.
Yeah, great. Oh, it's lovely to hear, Jack. I wanted to pick your brains about something a little bit more gameplay related. I've been talking a lot about opening kills, opening deaths, and how entering and taking ground kind of works in Siege across different maps. And a lot about your entry fraggers. Now, on that last map, taking a look at the stats, it was actually most of the time you guys were losing the opening engagements on Villa, especially in the attacks, and then you would claw back and be really successful. What does it take from a team perspective or from an individual's perspective, maybe even specifically in your role, to come back even when you lose the first player?
It's mostly headspace because, yeah, as you can see from various stats across all games, I'm guessing the opening death would usually mean that that team would lose a round. So it already is really difficult coming back from a 4v5, but yeah, basically not getting tilted from that, playing the same game or trying to bring it back evenly, trading, stuff like that.
I do want to ask one more thing.
Yeah.
The castle shotgun, what is it like? Is this how the world is now? Everyone's using castle shotgun? Like, tell me about that.
Cutie, I think he started that. He loves it.
Yeah.
He loves a bit of the castle shotgun. I've seen him go crazy with it and then go crazy with the pistol afterwards as well. Yeah, he just loves it.
Yeah, I can't be critical if it's successful.
Right, like you can't knock it until you try it. Jack Daddy, congratulations on your performance tonight, mate. You guys had, I want to say you guys had a phenomenal night, regardless of how close the scoreline may have been. You guys played really well. Would you like to say any final words to anyone at home?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the cast. Thanks to all the fans. Shout out to Krabby Thugs, Mordhouse. We're going to keep at #1 on that and in Siege as well.
Well, thank you very much, Jack Daddy. Don't forget, TBD, they are looking for an org, so feel free to reach out to the boys. That's it.
Guys.
Peace out, mate. Take care.
Peace out.
Jack Daddy's interviews just get better and better every time.
Man, all right, so reference, we kind of, prepare for the interviews before, like
We did a rehearsal to check that
just to
everything
make
was
sure
working
that
before the
Jack
broadcast
Daddy
started.
can actually be seen on camera, and it came to Jack Daddy just
He was naked.
Yep. And
It was great. It was a good rehearsal.
It was great. I was having such a good time talking to Jack.
Yeah,
he is very.
good.
I think Jack Daddy was one of the first people I met from the Rainbow Six scene, and that was back at Six Masters. And man, he's just wholesome.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like everyone's just wholesome in
And
Rainbow Six.
The first thing that Jack does when we give him an interview, we give him the spotlight, and the first thing he does is credit Kanga and how good they've been playing. So
yeah, speaks volumes about the character, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Dev, do you have any final words?